Hello, I'm Bob Matheny, Mayor of Zebulon, and this is the Zebulon Mayor Show. We're going to take a tour of the Zebulon parks today. We have 6 parks, actually 7, because we have one in conjunction with Wendell that has not yet been developed. We'll talk about that a little bit later. But I thought if we go around to the various parks, make you aware of where they are, what facilities are there, that might be useful information to you. So joining me today is Greg Johnson, who is the head of our recreation department. And Greg, thank you.
Thank you for asking me to do this.
Okay, we are currently at the Wakeland School Park, and this park came along when Weaver's Pond was first being developed. The developers at that time was McGregor and Company, and they sold land to the school system for Wakeland School, and then they also agreed to make a donation of a certain amount of land, 10 acres as a matter of fact, which is where we are right now. Now this property is actually owned by the school system, but it was donated with the intent of it being, a parks facility. So we jointly manage this. School system owns it. We manage it. We built the shelter that we're sitting under right now. And Wakeland, the park is just behind the Wakeland Elementary School on North 96 out of Zebulon. So having said all of that, Greg, tell us a little bit about what's out here at this park.
The facilities we have here include 2 multi-use fields, if you will. We primarily use them for soccer. Both can facilitate a full-size soccer field. We are able to cut them down and play several small-sided soccer games when we like. We've also used this facility for lacrosse. We use these fields for t-ball. We're looking at the possibility of having field hockey out here in the near future, hopefully next summer for a camp. In addition to the soccer fields, the multi-use fields, we have this picnic shelter that we're under. It's available for reservation to the public. We've got a resident rate and a out-of-town rate that we can charge, and it's a nominal fee. Restrooms are attached. In the near future, we're hoping to, right over here beside this picnic shelter, develop a small playground for the kids to enjoy.
Okay. So multi-purpose, primarily field athletics, but can be used for other things.
That's right. We have our own programs out here, and we've also rented to adult soccer leagues, youth soccer leagues, to come out here and enjoy this facility and use it. It's a beautiful facility.
And I know one of the fields is visible behind us here. I'm assuming that we picked that up, but very, very nice, well maintained, as are all the parks. So, but as I say, this is right behind the Wakeland Elementary School. Turn like you're going in towards Weaver's Pond, and then back to the left at the entrance to the school driveway, which is very well marked. This shelter, by the way, will seat a lot of people. I'm looking at 6 tables here, and golly, I believe you could sit probably 10 people at each table. Or,
yeah.
8 to 10 fairly comfortably. So there's a lot of room here. Okay, well that is the Wakeland School. I want to do a little transportation, so why don't we go to the Zebulon Elementary School? All right, Greg, we jumped over to another park.
Quick.
Yeah, that was real quick. You didn't know I could do that,
I
did
didn't.
All right, we're at the Zebulon Elementary School Park. Best way to get to this is to go into the Eastern Regional Center and come to the rear left corner parking lot, and then you'll find the drive that comes on in. Greg, tell us a little bit about this park. How big is it?
We're about 12 to 13 acres here. It's pretty much the playground for the Zebulon Elementary School. On it we have 2 youth-sized baseball fields. We have a soccer field. It's a smaller soccer field, a youth-sized soccer field, if you will. It's got a walking track going around it. And then on the other side of the park, we have an open field, a multi-use field that we play a lot of t-ball on. In addition to that, we have the same picnic shelter we just left over at Wakeland. We've built that. over here at Zebulon Elementary School also with the attached restrooms. We play all our youth baseball over here for the most part until they get to age 13, and then they move to community park that we'll visit shortly.
Right.
And we've got bigger fields there. Some of our t-ball is played over here. Some of our girls softball is played over here. We rent the facilities out to some of your travel type teams. Play a little bit of soccer. I've had a little bit of lacrosse over here. A variety of things. Again, very beautiful park.
Yeah, it is very well maintained. Aren't there some small trails in the woods back here?
You've got a trail that leads through the county property over to a picnic shelter and back around to the library.
Right.
Sure
right.
do. It's probably about somewhere between a quarter mile and a half mile in distance.
Yeah. Is there a map to that down there, or you
I
just
think
can't
not.
get lost because you stay on the trail?
It's one trail, and it just pretty much leads to the library.
Right. Okay. All right. Anything else you can think about here?
No, it's just again, it's a feel-good place when the kids are out here dressed in their uniforms and playing baseball and running and having a good time. It just looks good. It feels good. And it's a good place to be. So please come visit.
Well, I might add, and I know it was implied, but this park is also jointly with the Wake County School Systems, and we do the maintenance on it.
It's a level 4.
And we built the shelter and did a lot of work on the ball field.
Put the lights up in there.
Put the lights. So the town has a lot of investment in this park, along with Wake County School System. So that just seems to be a really good partnership.
It's an excellent partnership.
So very good. Well, look. I'm going to find out if you learned anything from me. How about you take us to the next park? Got it. You know, you did learn something, didn't you? All right, we're at the Privet Street Park now, which is just across from the town cemetery. Between that and Privet Street is actually behind us on the other side, runs up to the school, the middle school, I should say. But this park, long time ago, was a landfill, even before I came to Zebulon, which was in 1970, and so it was sometime prior to that. But it was the original landfill, but a lot better use for it now, I think.
It's a nice green space. It sure
Yeah.
does. And a lot of your landfills do turn into green spaces,
Right,
and
they
we're counting
do.
on that throughout the county now. But in this park, we have some older playground equipment and a relatively new piece that we put in a few years ago that the kids enjoy quite a bit. And then one of the oldest facilities that we have in any of our parks is the basketball court here at Gill Street. Some of the best basketball players in our area have played out here. There's right much play on the weekends, on Sundays in particular. If you ever wanted to see any excellent basketball play, it's played right here at Gill Street Park. It has been for many, many years, and there's been some famous visiting players that have come out here. And,
Just pickup games, I assume.
It's pickup games, playground games, and they get after it, and they play hard. They sure do.
I'm guessing, but this is probably the smallest park.
It's about acre and a half
Yeah.
in size of usable space.
And probably one of the oldest, maybe not the oldest, but you know, it's getting that way.
Yeah,
So
that's right.
I've been here a long time anyway, and y'all worked very hard on it. Well, you can see behind us the top play area. Anything else you can think of about this park?
I've got 2 kids, and it's sort of like 2 only children. They're 12 years apart. One's grown, and one's 10 years old, and both of them's favorite park is Gill Street Park to this day.
Right. Now, it used to have an event over here. It escapes me.
An event. I don't know.
There used to be one we came to, and there were various things going on around. I guess that's not being done anymore.
At one point, the police did their
That's exactly right.
night out over
Yeah.
here. I think that was a 1 or 2 year thing that they times that they did it here.
That's exactly right, because the substation is just on the other side of this park.
uh-huh.
And you're exactly right, Greg. I knew there was something, but of course that now is being held at the municipal complex.
That's
out in
correct,
Yard.
and they did it right when we put the new playground in, so they helped us open that up
Right.
and get it known. And that event's coming up too.
It is, and we'll be at the
Municipal
complex. I think it's, next Tuesday, I think.
that's
So this show may be over by the time, well, it will be by the time a lot of people, see it. But anyway, all right, well, we have 3 down now, and 3 more parks to go, and a seventh we want to talk about, just a hair. So I guess it's my turn.
You guys do it.
Okay, we have now jumped to the crown jewel of our park system, the community park, which is on South Arundel Avenue. The community center is adjacent to this, and we're not going to go in the community center today, but this park land was purchased back in the 70s. I'm giving away my tenure, but I was on the board then when we purchased this land. My recall is about 40 acres.
47 and a half.
Yeah. So we purchased that land, and it has come a long way since the day it was raw land. So why don't you tell us what we have down here?
Facilities at Zebulon Community Park include 2 large-sized baseball fields, softball fields. We can play, one of them is a multi-use field where you can put a full-size football or soccer field on it. We have a portable fence that we can put on the outfields to shorten it up for youth-size games. We have 2 basketball courts that get tremendous use, possibly one of the most used facilities, certainly in our park system. We have an 18-hole championship disc golf course that we're very proud of. It's been here for about 15 years, and we get a lot of play on that. We host several tournaments in a year. We've got a disc golf group that meets. This year they're meeting the second Sunday of each month. Coming up next year, we're going to be hosting some weeklies in addition to that, and we've done that in the past. So we're very proud of our disc golf course and the disc golf community. We've got walking trails that we've been able to put in place. They're concrete trails for the most part. We've got some that are wood that were funded by the John Rex Endowment Grant. We just completed that this past year. The walking trails are getting a lot of use, be it people just coming out here to walk for exercise, and sometimes it's parents whose kids are practicing baseball, soccer, whatever, and instead of just sitting around waiting or taking off and leaving, they'll walk the trails and get exercise, so that's very beneficial. Back behind us, we've got the new playground. I say it's new. I think it's been in place 2.5 years. It has really brought a lot of people out here. They come repeatedly, more often than they used to, and they stay for long periods of time. And then, of course, we're under 2 of the shelters that are almost original with the park. The park was opened up in 1989. I think these shelters were installed in 1992. And then again, when we did the playground 2.5 years ago, over here to our left is the restroom facility that serves this area.
There's a lot going on down here.
It's a very busy park, especially on the weekends, but even on weekdays. You can come down here on weekends, though, and it's beautiful to see people playing soccer on one field, softball on the field, basketball. The golf groups are out here playing golf, kids on the playground. Beautiful sight to see.
And let's talk a little bit about some of the long-range plans for this park, because we're not through yet.
That's right, and another thing too, for even longer than that, we're not landlocked here. We're hoping to expand at some point, but we've the master plan shows the biggest 2 things are the 2 youth baseball fields that are shown on the master plan. That would be done on the east side of the park, just east of the 2 existing fields, to where you'd have a circular pattern of 4 fields.
And are there any additional walking trails planned inside the park?
They're not planned for inside the park right now. However, and you're a big proponent of greenways, we're hoping to one day open up a greenway from the park that runs through the park and utilizes the trail system to Five County Stadium. Right. That would give you a 2-mile greenway that connects those 2 destinations.
Yeah, and as you know, that's been a long time dream of mine, is to get that accomplished, and there is a sewer easement all the way, so it's not like you don't have to acquire the land. We do have to modify those easements for walking, but nonetheless the easements are there, so nothing can be built on them.
That's correct.
So that would open that up. So yeah, I would be really excited to see that happen. This really is a wonderful facility because of the shaded area here, the ample parking over at the ball diamonds and the basketball court, and you can walk the trails, the paved trails, but a lot of times I would come down and just walk the golf course. It's about a mile, going around all of the holes at the golf course.
That's correct, and it's a
So-
pretty easy track to figure out. If you just follow the golf course, this golf course does go around the perimeter of the park for the most
Right.
part.
Right.
And and I do the same thing. I like getting off the beaten path a little bit and meander there. And so that does give you a nice, a different type of walk. It's almost like a hike instead of a walk.
Well, yeah, and if you're not able to do that physically, then you can stay on the paved track and have very stable, walking surface.
You can
there,
bring your
so.
children, strollers. I've
Yeah,
seen kids out here on bikes when it's not too busy. We try not to allow that when it's real busy out here, but there's a variety of ways to get exercise out here.
Do you have to reserve? I know that the other two facilities that we looked at, you have to reserve those if you want to have a picnic there. Do you do that here?
Yeah, we reserve all our picnic shelters. We've got shelters here, of course, at Wakeland, at Zebulon Elementary School, and at Whitley Park. We reserve all those. And we're getting ready to move where you go for those reservations too, so I'm glad that you asked this question. Starting next week, we're going to begin taking those reservations at the community center. We have been taking those reservations at Town Hall. And so now we're going to be transferring that function of our operation to the community center.
And for those that don't know what date we're filming this, next week is the 13th of October is when that will start at the community center.
Mm-hmm.
And you might just throw in Tim Hales, who they're used to seeing, is
That's
going
right.
to be at the community center.
He's excited about it. We're excited about the changes that are coming up also. We've got the Sheila Morris, Sheila Morris Long.
Right.
Was our first community center coordinator, and she worked that position for 5 years. She helped us open up that building and put the real infrastructure in it. She really
Right.
put some good bones in that building, and it was a very good operation. And when she left to go to Rocky Mount recently, Tim Hale said that he was interested in making that move. He's been with us for 16 years
Right.
and has done an outstanding job as athletic coordinator. And we went through the interview process and everything and let him interview for it also. And that was the best fit for us, and we're excited for him. We're excited for the Parks and Rec Department and the town of Zebulon.
Very good. Well, we have a couple of more parks to go, and it's just wonderful that we have this many parks in a town this size. I'm just so proud of that.
Not many towns of less than 5,000 people
yeah.
have 6 and upcoming 7 parks.
Right. Well, fist bump me and we'll end up at the other park. Worked again. Here we are at Whitley Park, and Whitley Park has been here for many, many years, I know, because it's very close to where I live. But it's on north of Rendell Avenue. A couple of acres.
Yep, about 2.5 acres with an awful lot.
Right. And tell us what's here for people.
We've got a picnic shelter that was built in the 1950s here that has a fireplace to it and has a grill. Real good looking lodge looking picnic shelter that's got a real homey feel. We've got brand new playground equipment that we just opened up in the past several months. We were able to put that in place with a John Rex Endowment grant. We've got a pavilion, if you will, that we have live music from time to time that the Ken Griswold family built for us. And we've got 2 tennis courts that get quite a bit of play. In addition to that, we've got more picnic areas, rest bench areas. We're sitting under a small picnic shelter here that was
I believe this was a scout project.
erected
Yeah.
As an Eagle Scout project by Quentin Peel.
Right. Now you have some paved walking paths through here. It's not really a walking trail, but it
That's
makes
right.
it easy to get in through the park.
We've been able to get it all the way through the park now from the north side to the south side. It goes all the way to Glen Street. At one point it came from the parking lot on the other side of the park to the restroom. When we did the playground work, we were able to complete that sidewalk, and now we can get people safely from one side of the park to the other. There's a lot of trees that provide a lot of good shade that people really like, but at the same time it was creating some difficult walking conditions. So now we've got safe.
This is where usually the summer music is performed in the Griswold.
We have some music out here in the fall.
Okay.
It's more when it is. Since we've been at the municipal complex, a lot of times we have decided
Right.
to do there and have performances there because we have better visibility. It's
Right.
easier to get attendance there
Right.
with this being off the beaten path.
Right. Well, also, I don't think you mentioned there are bathroom facilities here.
That's correct.
And then also there's actually two playgrounds. One is more of a, in my mind at least, a tot lot type area, and the other is maybe for a little older kids. I don't know if that's correct.
On the far side, you're going to have a better place for your age 2 to 5-year-old child,
Right.
and then here behind us is more conducive to your 5 to age 12 age group.
Right. Now the tennis courts are 2 courts, and as I mentioned, I live very close by, and I see them being used constantly. So
We have they're lit. We allow play up until 11 o'clock at night,
Right.
and sometimes they play till 11 o'clock at night.
Right. No, they do. I know.
Yeah, and but they are getting a lot of play. I was going to tell you what one of the older guys groups calls himself, but I won't. not on family TV.
Okay.
It might not go over too well. I will speak on the playground a little bit more than you were talking about the age groups. When we installed this equipment, one of the things that we wanted to do was have challenging equipment, not something that kids would get bored with right away. It's not just platforms and sliding boards and things like that. It's more contemporary. A lot of things to climb on. Climb on top of, climb in it, climb around it, and get all over it, and it just really works a child out, provides a real good workout for them.
Right. Right.
Fitness is a very important thing, even at a young age.
Well, it's a very pretty park, and been here, as you pointed out, for a very long time, but it is well used. It really is. The picnic shelter is especially well used, I know,
Yeah.
because, and I see picnic groups out here all the time, and it's a good place just to come at lunch and sit quietly and eat your meal and go back to
Exactly
work.
right.
So,
It's a very, very popular park, always has been. I think it
Yeah.
always will be. It's in a
Yeah.
great neighborhood.
yeah, named after Mr. C.B. Whitley.
That's correct.
I think he donated the land for it, if I'm not mistaken. So, he was C.B. Whitley of Whitley Galleries, just for historical perspective. But nonetheless, it's a very appreciated park. Well, we've just about got it covered. We have one more park to see, and that is the Little River Park, which has been around for a long time. And I understand you do pretty good Tabitha.
Yeah, when I was a little kid, I was in love with Tabitha, so let's go
Okay.
Tabitha style.
All right. You got us here. Number 6.
There we go, Little River
Okay.
Park.
Little River Park. Folks, we're at Little River Park, which is on Highway 97 between Zebulon and Lizard Lick, down on, obviously, Little River. This park a long time ago was a grist mill, and also, as I understand it, in the wintertime they used to come down here and cut block ice in the pond behind us here, and then they would store it in sawdust, and it was a main ice supplier for this area. I have no idea how long it's been a park, but a long time.
Yeah, before the town was operating it, the JC's operated
Yeah.
it, that you were a part of.
And JC spent a lot of time down here cleaning it up, fixing it up, and then y'all have spent a lot of time as well. Really, really a very pretty park, very iconic for the town of Zebulon. Tell us a little bit about what you have here.
Now, this pretty much is a very passive park. There is a small little piece of playground equipment on it, but for the most part, people come up here to picnic, to enjoy nature, to hear the water coming down the falls and down the rocks. Nice place to be. It's one of my favorite hiding spots. If I ever need to get away from it all, if something's not going just right and I need to go to a park, sometimes I'll just ride over here and check out Little River Park, just because of its tranquility. Very nice place to be. Does get a lot of visits. Kids like it, the adults like it. Do get some fishing out here. We do not allow swimming out here, but it's just it's convenient. It's right here on Highway 97 West. If you've never seen Little River Park, it's worth a visit.
And we're not at the falls. The falls are a little bit down from us, but the foliage from this side kind of blocks it off, but you can turn on the other side of the bridge and go in and have a good view of both the pond and the waterfalls.
That's correct. We have green space on both the east side of the river and the west side of the river.
There's a really nice sandlot over there too.
That's correct.
So,
Thanks to one of the hurricanes that
Yeah,
came in the 80s.
but you know, it's a place to play.
90s.
Sure is. Now, this is the northern end of another of my dreams, and that is for a blueway. And a blueway is a greenway on water. and this river flows to, well, further south, but the next stop of that blueway would be what's known as Tarpley Mill, which is the Little River Bridge between Wendell and Zebulon. And that's where the 7th Park is, where we jointly with Wendell own some land down there. And tell us just a little bit about that. I know it's not developed yet, but
Yeah, it's a small area on both sides of Highway 64 business. There we've got some property on both sides. I think one day you'll see a greenway system that goes right through that area. It's a very beautiful area. The river is quite beautiful in that area. And I think that what you'll see there is pretty much a passive area also, with some picnic tables and rest benches and just a place to go and relax, possibly throw a worm in to see if you can catch any fish. But just a relaxing place is what I envision that park being.
Right. And my vision is that you could put in here with a canoe or a small boat, no motorboats, obviously, and travel, I don't know, what, 3 miles maybe?
Maybe so.
Down the river, and we can blaze that trail where people could take out at Tarpley's Mill,
That's
putting
correct.
in here. So, you know, that's just a vision that we have, that I have. As you mentioned earlier, I'm a great proponent of greenways and by the way, blueways. So
Very much so.
I just enjoy that type of recreation, and my hope is that we can get that done. But getting back to this park, it is a very pretty park, as are all of our parks. And I really can't leave today without thanking you and your staff for the hard work that you do to keep these parks up, especially Jimmy Harris.
Yeah, I would like to say that too, is that our little small maintenance department with Parks and Rec does an outstanding job with 6 parks. We have one full-time person, that is Jimmy Harris, that has been doing it for about 20 years with us, full-time. And he's got quite a good staff. He's got Mr. Benny Holden, Holder, that has been with the towns for ages. He was working here when Willie B. Hopkins was working here.
Right.
He helps, and Wayne and Ross and Jesse, the whole crew does an outstanding job. When they heard that you were coming out here with cameras, I'm sure they worked extra hard this week to make it look good for you.
Yeah.
And let me also say that I don't know if you're aware of this, but the Public Works Department mows this park and Gill Street Park for us,
Right.
and they are very dependable and help us in so many ways other than just that, but I'd like to give them accolades also.
Now this park, by the way, does close a certain time at night.
All our parks, unless there's activities going on that are programmed, all our parks close at dark or at sundown.
Okay. Well, I was really thinking about this one because it's a little bit out in a way.
We advertise dusk or sundown.
Right. Okay. Well, very good. Well, folks, first of all, Greg, thank you for your
Thank you
time,
for
and
having
thank
me.
you for your staff. I hope you've enjoyed this tour of our parks, but more than that, I hope you'll get out and find out for yourself how wonderful they are, and hope that you enjoy them. And tell all your friends that we have 6 parks in Zebulon and 7 on the horizon. We have a lot to offer here, and we thank you for watching. Hope you find this information useful. See you next month.